Are you ready for the interview? On this video, we're going to go over some 10 points that they're going to ask you, what you should ask them, and at the end, we'll go over one big bonus one that I think is the one question you should always ask, and it'll make them think. So if you guys don't know, my name is Josh. I'm an industrial maintenance tech. I've been doing this for years. I try to go on an interview at least once every 2 months. I always tell the companies, though, that I'm not actively looking, but I'm entertaining you. And the reason for that, guys, is I believe that you should always be ready for the moment if something ever happens, right? Like, you want to brush up on your skills, or at least you want to have your resume out there in case something, heaven forbid, were to happen, So, anyways, let's get right to it. I always carry a bag with me, guys. It's going to have my weld certs, my resumes. It's going to have my electrical certs. It's going to have all that kind of stuff. And the reason for that, guys, is half the time it's a maintenance manager or supervisor plus somebody else. That plus one is always called into something else, so then it's a new person. So they don't have all the information, or it's just easy to just be like, yeah, I got it, bam. Okay, 3 copies with you, and it'll go smooth for that part. I've run into it so many times that it's just, okay, I have to do it, Also, in that bag, I keep my multimeter and a couple basic tools. There's a few times I've been Johnny on the spot, and they're just like, all right, you're going to do this comp test. Most times it's just a written thing, but sometimes I've had some basic things, and I like having my own tools. So the number one common question is, like, how do you handle a stressful situation? Like in my case, they asked, you got 1, 2, 3 lines down, 10, 20, 30 minutes. Well, how do you just, how do you determine which one's most important, blah, blah, blah. My answer is almost always go to the production supervisor, and they'll tell me which one needs to go up first, because they know the real numbers. I don't. I just fix things. I try to stay ahead of things, but most of the time, all those numbers in the meetings, I'm not involved in, so the production will know the numbers. So usually they're the ones who go, oh, line B has to go, I don't care, or line C, it doesn't matter about the other two, line C has to go, so okay, do what you gotta do. Another common question is, what's your greatest accomplishment at the last job, or what's something you did to improve things, whether improve cycle time, weld reliability. One of mine is usually training new people. Let's say Tony was a male exotic dancer, whatever it may be, and he comes into maintenance. What did you do to make him better, right? Like, I want to make my team better. 2 reasons. 1, they appreciate me more. And 2, hopefully I don't get called at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I do believe that, pay it forward and it'll pay dividends back. The people that I really taught a lot, that are willing to learn, have always paid me back tenfold, whether it be in kindness or just, offering to help with other things, outside of work because I showed them so much, or whatever it may be. That kind of stuff does not go unappreciated. To me, that goes a long ways. Even if I say, no, man, I don't need help gardening or anything like that, they still go, hey, man, you showed me a lot. And to me, my personal worth, I love that. One of the basic questions is, like, what makes you a good leader? One of the things that makes me a good leader, guys, I believe, is I don't take all the credits. I divvy out the credit. So if Tony did this and Michael did this, and Aaron did this, and Caesar did this, I try to say, okay, I tell management, this guy did this, and this, and I try not to be like, oh, it was my idea. Sometimes it's just your idea, and it's your idea, but try to give everyone credit. Everyone appreciates you more, they like it more, and management will know if you're doing a good job, or at least in my case, because the numbers will reflect that. My downtime, my machine efficiency will be up, so that reflects good on me. I don't need all the other credit. And the guys will appreciate it, because if they try to go, hey, I want to raise, I do all this and this and this, and I've done these projects and this, and I deserve, a couple of dollars more, or, or maybe they go to the next job and say, I did all this, whatever it may be, you help them out, and eventually, guys, they will help you out. Another basic question is, what is the day-to-day like in your job? I can't really answer that one for you. For me, it's different. Yeah, it's up to you. But beware, that question will probably happen. Sometimes they'll have a comp test, guys. Whether it be a basic, you have 4 gears, which way does the conveyor go, kind of basic question, which if you guys don't know, just look it up. There's an ease and odds. Anyway, or turn ratio, all that kind of stuff. But that's something that'll pop up. Another one that'll pop up is sometimes, like in the Kansas City area, we have a college that does basic comp tests, like mechanical, electrical, pneumatic, I do believe. I've never done that one before, but I've heard quite a few people who've had, so maybe they'll do something like that. I think that's a great idea, honestly. If you actually have the thing in front of you, there is no line. It's not like I can remember a piece of paper. Well, no, now the thing's in front of me. Now you really know. I like that personally more, guys, but I've never ran into it. So hopefully we'll see that more going into the future. And then obviously you're going to have the are you a team player question. The answer is yes. If you're not a team player, I don't know if this environment's the best fit for you. The guys that are like, oh, I'm Mr. Macho, lone wolf, whatever, they get kind of chewed up a lot. Some can stand by themselves because they're just that awesome. To me, I'd rather just be a team player. Even if they're just like, oh, that's Josh, he's on third, whatever, that's fine. I don't care. Like, some people want to stand out and be the top shot. Me, I want to go to work, do my thing, and if no one remembers my name, management-wise, as a team lead, I was okay with that just because if they didn't know who I was, there wasn't any problems on my shift. And now it's a little bit different. I don't want to I don't want to stand in the front of the crowd and be like, yeah, I'm awesome. I want my work to speak for itself. So eventually that will get noticed. It does get noticed. And, I'm just not that kind of guy. I want to just do good work, go home, make some money. The seventh most common question I feel like is, how's your past experience help you in this job? Just look at the job description, jot some ideas down the night before. I can't help you with that. Everyone's situation is different. Number 8 is, we run into this one all the time. I should honestly probably almost be number 1. What's your 3 strongest traits or whatever it may be? Mine's welding, robotics, and learning. I love to learn. I have my books in front of me, and I was actually reading, and I was like, oh, hey, this recruiter called me, and this is a great idea for a video. I was learning Arduinos and more about welding, more manual welding, just because that's my interest, But helping your career learning is also good, too. So the Arduinos, just so I can work on the DC stuff. I'm learning a lot more about capacitors this week. If you keep learning every day, maybe you can't do every day. Say you do 300 days a year. Over 3 years, that's, your 900 levels over the next guy, hopefully. Or maybe he's got more experience, but you spend all this time learning, and that gives you that one level up over him. So every day, guys, every day you can learn something new. The other one is like, what schooling do you have? What certs do you have? Certs are important. In Kansas City, we have a bunch of electrical companies like Square D will come in and do arc flash training. Yeah, it's like $250, $250. I think it's well spent. You can say, I had that. Or maybe they'll do a low voltage kind of thing, or maybe they'll do some OSHA cards, wherever it may be, or hey, I'm going to take this NEC codes class, it's something to say I've put money in myself to make me better, so you should look at me more than the next guy. Classic, I always ask it, what's your greatest weakness, right? To me, it's hydraulics. I hate hydraulics. I try to avoid it, but sometimes when I have to help other plants, they've got presses. Oh, man, and then you're covered in hydraulic oil all day because you're in your knees trying to find out the one loose wire or the short or whatever. I hate it, but it's something that all my jobs I've never really had to deal with much of, so thankfully, I should say, but it is one of my weaknesses. So I do make sure to mention that. You shouldn't hide your weakness. They should know, okay, so, you go, okay, I'm weak in this, but maybe you can invest in me and making me better at that. Even almost every job I talk to, they don't have much for hydraulics, so that's not a big deal to me, but it's something to know. All right, some questions you should ask them for me is, if plant manager says this, maintenance manager says this, who is right? To me, I make sure to tell them that I'm going to go with my maintenance manager, not because I'm saying screw you to the plant manager. I'm going to go with what my maintenance manager says because he's the one I directly respond to, right? Like, if those two don't get along, those two need to figure it out. But I do what my maintenance manager says. Obviously, there's cases where, like, hey, move this over here. Okay, whatever. But if it comes to a big conflict or something major, like some major change, I go, no, work order from the maintenance manager. It has to be that way so everyone's on board, everyone agrees. Same way with my guys. If I tell them to do something and the guy on first shift says to do it another way, do it my way, and I'll talk to that guy, and then we'll figure it out. And I've been wrong plenty of times in my lifetime, guys. I'll be like, oh man, Rob's got a great way to do that. Why didn't we do that? Okay, great, let's change it. I don't have that ego of, oh, my way's the best way. It's just, man, whatever makes my life easier. I don't take the cheap way out, but you don't want to work harder than you have to. All right, let's talk schooling. And last year, in 2019, I turned down a company instantly, almost ended the interview. I had school from 5 to 10, 2 days a week. It was actually motors. So I feel that's important, right? They worked at 8 to 5, refused to budge on 30 minutes. I'm like, can I come in 30 minutes early, or can I just lose an hour's pay every week because,
we're industrial maintenance. We work Saturdays and Sundays a lot too, so it's not a big deal. But they refused to budge on that 30 minutes. And I was like, it's for my associates, it's what we do here. I'm learning more of. And they refused to budge. And I was like, okay, we're done. You're not willing to let me invest in myself to improve myself. That means you're not going to invest in me. Some companies just can't, they're like, hey, we do 12-hour shifts and we run a tight shift and we just can't, sacrifice 3 hours. I get that. That's different, but if you're, 8 to 5, 2 days a week, I feel like they should be able to budge. Most times, like I say, hey, I want to take these classes. They'll be like, hey man, can you just take one class this semester and we can work with you on these, 2 or 3 days you choose, whatever. We'll work something out, make sure to try to talk to your maintenance manager. 9 times out of 10, they'll try to make something work because the more the better it is for them. And obviously another question you should always ask, why is a spot open? Maybe they got a whole new line of cells and they need one extra guy per shift now because they have all this extra stuff. That's great. Perfect. That's what you want in a plant. So they want to keep expanding, right? Just something to be wary of. Check Glassdoor, all that kind of stuff, but most people who comment are people who are upset. So take that with a grain of salt. And then the classical one is where, you ask the maintenance manager, say his name's Rick, for example. Okay, all right, Rick, where do you see me in a year? That kind of stuff. That'll give you a basic idea of kind of what they expect of you. And it's just a simple, it's kind of like going through the motions questions you should ask along with, insurance benefits, all that kind of stuff. The tools, guys, let's talk tools. Do they supply them? Do you, supply your own? I'm a toolaholic. My brother's works and they supply the tools. I want my own stuff because I don't want someone's nasty, germy, whatever it may be, hands all over stuff that I share. I'm not down with that. But it is what it is. Just something to ask, Some people like going to jobs like that so they don't have to invest all that extra money. Okay, now the bonus one, guys. The one I think you should always ask is, what are they going to do for you? Some companies have the mentality of like, okay, what if they leave? Then we lose all that knowledge. No, not necessarily. Like, you do lose some of that knowledge, but let's say I leave this company and I take all my knowledge with me. They hire somebody else that has knowledge up here. Okay, so I had all this knowledge down here, and between a whole team of people, we used to really start to learn a lot. And dealing with robotics, not a lot of people know robotics, but they'll know conveyors and they'll know sealants, they'll know hydraulics, they'll know this, and I've learned so much between all them, even if they don't have to do with everyday job stuff. Projects or whatever it may be, they might have experience doing with something, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, our world's better because XYZ kind of relates to ABC. But back to it, what are they willing to invest in you? Like schooling, certs. Something I usually ask for is robot certs. I've been doing robots for 5 years and I have absolutely no certs. That doesn't hurt me, but as a matter of personal pride and personal growth, I want those just for myself. If they have a master electrician, that's a big thing to me. I want to get my hours so I can get my journeyman's, right? And retake my test. I got a 68 and a 72 the last 2 times I take that test. If I put all that effort into it and I have the hours, I can get my journeyman's license, I feel like. The other thing is, in terms of leadership, I asked for, like, are they going to send me to lean manufacturing training or Sigma 6 or, a few of the other ones they have. Or like one of the other things maybe possibly is for leadership is conflict resolution. I think that's a huge one. No one really offers that. They have them a couple of schools, but they're like 5-day courses and they're like $1,000. I don't want to spend $1,000 on I do, but it's $1,000, guys. It's a lot of money. But your company might go, okay, we'll spend $1,000 on you on conflict resolution, but you have to sign this 1-year deal that if you leave within this year of starting this or ending this class, you have to pay all that money back. That's a pretty good deal. Solid deal. Everyone wins. It's fair. It's something that maybe you should ask for. Hey, I'll stick around for a year or 2 if they invest a lot in you. But they should invest in you guys. You make their life better. You don't want Joe Smo that doesn't do anything, doesn't want to learn anything, and he's just weighing everyone down and he just never leaves. You want to continue to improve even if they leave. That's fine. It sucks, but it's fine. You'll hire somebody else with different set of knowledge, right? All right, guys, hopefully I help you get that next job. Let me know in the comments. Say, did I help out? Did I miss something that I think you think I should add it? The 11th question, or hey, they don't ever ask that one anymore, but they ask this every time. hey, an electrician, they might ask some code questions every single time. Apartment maintenance, they might ask HVAC. You know, everyone's a little different. I'll do. Maybe we can ask some of the other channels, you know, like the maintenance man or Alexa Fence, you know, somebody like that who does apartment maintenance, answer those kind of questions, you know, if this video gets that big. Anyways, guys, the most important thing, though, is don't forget, smile. It's going to be wonderful.